Hello, my name is Christopher Houston, and I will be narrating our group case study on the U.S. Army's Wounded Warriors program with specific focus on the Community Support Network. In response to an increasing number of wounded soldiers injured in the Iraq War and war in Afghanistan, the U.S. Army launched a corporate social responsibility effort in 2004. Essentially taking responsibility for the impact that it has had on wounded soldiers and their families and committing to helping them through their recoveries as long as it is needed. The unique circumstances of these conflicts have soldiers going overseas for multiple tours, which increases their risk of getting wounded and suffering from traumatic brain injuries or post-traumatic stress disorder. And then on top of that, they have to come back to a nation that has a struggling economy and a sluggish workforce. Additional statistics: as of September 2010, there were approximately 22.7 million veterans. For every U.S. soldier killed in World Wars I and II, there were 1.7 soldiers wounded in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. Furthermore, 36.6% of veterans are not aware of educational and training opportunities available to them, and 32.3% of veterans do not know how to apply for vocational rehabilitation. Looking internally at the situation, as part of the Warrior Transition Command, the U.S. Army launched the Wounded Warrior Program to better inform soldiers of resources available to them. The AW2 helps with retirement, travel support, financial counseling, and assists with federal benefits. More than 2 years ago, the Community Support Network was created to engage businesses and organizations in supporting wounded warriors. They focus on hot topics such as post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, employment initiatives, employer education, adaptive sports and recreation services, and also physical rehabilitative support. An external look at the AW2: about 70% of the Army's severely wounded, ill, and injured soldiers have medically retired, and these highly trained soldiers and their families are eager to connect with local civilian communities. Since the founding of this program, it has been a great success. Organizations like Building Homes for Heroes, Habitat for Humanity, the Work-Life Institute, and the GI Go Fund, in addition with over 300 other organizations, currently partner with the AW2's Community Support Network program to create a truly comprehensive network for wounded warriors. In their social media endeavors, they have also been quite successful. Their Facebook page has over 11,000 likes, and their Army Twitter page has over 167,000 followers. Furthermore, they are widespread with over 100 facilities located across the United States, Germany, the Caribbean, and the Pacific Islands. Looking at the SWOT analysis, we see their strengths as including two-way communication with soldiers and stakeholders, strong relationships with these stakeholders and supporters, and strategic partnerships with multiple organizations, including the Department of Veterans Affairs. Their weaknesses include a lack of separate focus on mental health issues facing wounded veterans, because they struggle to quickly address mental trauma. This ties into our opportunities as we see they can expand these services for veterans, specifically with mental trauma. In addition, they can focus on increasing membership support, enhancing educational outreach, providing quarterly conference calls, and increasing their social media endeavors. Threats to the organization include year-to-year funding and a possible loss of program support from senior Army officials. There's also the risk of the program becoming a safety net for the wounded participants. And finally, an executive order by President Barack Obama, which limited the CSN's largest two-way communication vehicle and has limited their conference participation. So essentially, we believe that our proposal will help maximize the AW2 Community Support Network's ability to assist and advocate for severely wounded, ill, and injured soldiers, provide support for them and their families, and create more holistic approaches to meeting each individual's specific needs. Moving into our goals, The goals of this proposal include the need to raise awareness about the importance of the AW2 program in order to secure funding and sustainability, increase visibility among secondary stakeholders of the community support network effort, and assist wounded soldiers, veterans, and their families with career and educational opportunities to foster independence in transitioning to all aspects of civilian life. The largest shortcomings for the AW2 program include high unemployment rates, maintaining active records, and fostering independence among program participants. Currently, the program measures success through a number of enrollees and partner organizations. The AW2 program needs to create specific, measurable, and obtainable benchmarks for evaluating program successes as a way to demonstrate the value of such a program to leadership. Other objectives include raising awareness of community support network organizations that are available to assist soldiers and their families, and enhancing efforts to transition soldiers out of the program and back on a path towards independence. The primary stakeholders include the U.S. soldiers, veterans, and their families, the Department of Defense, the Department of Veteran Affairs, employees and caregivers of the Warrior Transition Command, and the U.S. Army Medical Command. Secondary stakeholders include the federal, state, and local government programs, Army programs, civic organizations and clubs, corporations, local businesses, nonprofit organizations, human resources organizations, NGOs, IGOs, and also the media. The AW2 program appeals to 3 different target audiences, so its message should be tailored to the needs and wants of each of those specific target audiences. For veterans, the message the AW2 should be communicating is that the Army Wounded Warrior program can really help severely wounded, ill, and injured soldiers, veterans, and their families successfully transition into civilian life and the workforce. For organizations and employers, the message that the AW2 program can promote is that veterans are natural entrepreneurs who possess experience and leadership to start businesses and create jobs. For the public, the message needs to be more about education and also dissolving the legitimacy gap that exists in civilian society about professional qualifications of the severely wounded veterans. Our first objective is to increase CSN membership to provide more opportunities to soldiers. To raise awareness about the CSN, we must actively reach out to new organizations. One way to accomplish this is by forming partnerships with like-minded organizations, in particular the Wounded Warrior Project, which focuses on community services for soldiers as well as rehabilitation. The CSN should also form a partnership with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and their Wounded Warrior Transition Assisted Program. This would give us access to an even greater network. Our specific tactics for increasing membership is that we continue to use social media to promote the CSN through Facebook and Twitter, with region-specific Facebook groups or Twitter handles such as @AW2CSN Southeast. The CSN should partner with veterans groups across the country to hold events to bring in new organizations. The CSN should also look to partner with elected officials like local members of Congress who often conduct job fairs. This would be a great place for CSN to promote its efforts and gain new members. Other entities with similar Wounded Warriors programs, like the Chambers of Commerce, can place notices in their monthly newsletters encouraging their members to join the CSN. Our next objective is to raise awareness of CSN organizations to soldiers and increase participation levels. A key part of the CSN strategy is to increase the level of engagement from our member organizations. Instead of just joining the CSN and having our businesses listed on the website, CSN members should actively engage with the soldiers themselves and other CSN members. There should be an ongoing dialogue between CSN, its members, and those warriors who are participating in the program. Our tactics for achieving this are to increase the level of stakeholder engagement through dividing the country into geographic regions and conducting smaller conferences twice a year, in addition to our annual conferences to bring together the organizations and the soldiers. More frequently, we should conduct quarterly calls and webinars where various members are invited to share success stories, best practices, tips, and soldiers can also share their experiences with the CSN organizations. This will offer the CSN and its members a chance to hear directly from those benefiting from services. The CSN website should also have a spotlight page where each week a member organization submits a testimonial. Our next objective is to enhance soldier and family transitions. The CSN has a difficulty transitioning soldiers out of the program. Efforts must be made to involve the soldiers and their families in the transition process and increase the support network around these soldiers to keep them on track for a successful transition. Our specific tactics for this include that we believe it can be done by creating local support networks for soldiers who are struggling with transition. CSN organizations in the area where the soldier lives can sponsor them and provide additional support with visits and check-ins to aid them and keep them on track. Having soldiers and their families participate in quarterly calls with CSN organizations and staff can also provide a two-way communication system for families who are struggling with transition and a way for them to voice concern and receive feedback from CSN members and staff. More tactics include further online communities that could also support our efforts through both social media and blogging. Moving into measurement and evaluation, the CSN has had a difficult time measuring our efforts. We must begin to track tangible increases to track the successes of these new strategies. Particularly, we would look at the percentage increase of involved organizations, we would track the number of new partnerships and their reach, and increase social media in addition to general media mining. Furthermore, we would look at member engagement by tracking participation on conference calls. Take another look at the spotlight organizations on our website during the first year, and also track the level of social media engagement by comparing likes versus posts on the actual page itself. Some more measures include taking a closer look at soldier transition time and asking ourselves if soldiers are transitioning on track from their individual plan. We also need to track soldiers successfully returned to the Army via exit interviews and post-transition email or phone surveys, and also track soldiers who have successfully become employed because of CSN efforts via post-transition email or phone surveys as well. Finally, when it comes to reporting for the leadership and public, an organization must ensure that its CSR successes are being channeled to the appropriate stakeholders. CSN must publish reports so that senior Army leadership has a record for which they can advocate on the program's behalf, and stakeholders such as the soldiers, the member organizations, and the public can also see the success of the program. This concludes our case study on the AW2 program. We appreciate your time and bid you a good day.